Let's run it. You're mic'd up with Charlie, real talk, real grit, and all about chasing greatness. Today I'm here with Coach Landers. Coach Landers, thank you for joining us, and please tell us about yourself.
My name is Kathy Landers, and I played softball at the University of Texas at Austin from '97 through 2000, and then quickly after that became a coach, softball coach, and as an assistant and a head coach at some schools around the Austin area. And now I am the head tennis coach here at Vleck High School.
How did you first get involved in sports?
So I'm the youngest of 4 girls, and my sisters all played sports, so I was drug around to every sporting event that they had and just kind of fell in love with sports in general.
What inspired you to pursue your career at a competitive level?
I liked the competitiveness and the drive of my teammates, and I always wanted to be better than them, so I kept working and really wanted to just get to the highest level possible.
As a coach, how's the mental health concern to you now compared to when you played?
Mental health is very big now. I make sure that my athletes are taking care of themselves mentally. When I was playing, it was not a big deal. You didn't talk about mental health. Mental health issues were not really around back then. So I try to make sure that my athletes are taken care of now.
What's your vision you would like to see happen in mental health?
I would like to see it to be more of an okay to need mental health or mental assistance or like counseling, and I don't want it to be a taboo for athletes to have to go to get counseling or work through their mental health issues. I think it's a big deal that they need to be able to have that option there for them.
How will you know when an athlete is struggling with their mental health?
As a coach, I try to get to know my athletes individually and make sure that I know how they are each day mentally and physically, and just kind of check in with them. Hey, how's your day going? Or have you had to eat today? Like, what's going on? Just kind of the coaching relationship, but also the not friend but kind of mom relationship with them.
What does a typical day or week look like in your position?
Well, so I teach all day, which I'm a special ed teacher, so I'm in and out of classrooms all day, and then go in the afternoons and coach female athletes in athletics, and then we have tennis practice after school till it gets dark. If it's a tennis tournament day, then we're up at the school by 6, and then we're on the courts all day until the last person loses, and then we head home.
Can you describe a specific technique you use or to help athletes manage their stress and anxiety?
So one thing I've learned I have 3 daughters, so one thing I've learned with them is when breathing is a big deal. When you are having anxiety or stress or just getting uptight, we talk about breathing, get your breathing under control, or look and see me what's around, tell me what's around. I mean, like, I see a tennis ball, or I see a bag, or I see, just to kind of get them to disconnect from whatever is giving them the anxiety and kind of bringing them back focused in.
Do you take a professional boundary or a personal boundary with your athletes, or does it depend on the certain situations?
It depends on the situation. I try to do, I am professional boundaries with them, but there's every once in a while they need the mom, the helper, check in and all that other stuff. So it's kind of both, I guess you would say. I do develop relationships with them outside of the sports. They come back after playing for me and being like, from college, or after they're married, and like, hey, thank you, or how are you doing, how are the girls, stuff like that. So
how do you assess the mental and emotion needs of athletes?
It varies kid to kid. Some of them don't need it, and then it's just kind of how they're feeling that day, the vibe that they give me. That's why I get to know my athletes like I do, is because some of them give the vibe of I'm really stressed out or I just need a break. And some of them you couldn't tell, but I get to know them enough to be able to see that in them.
How would you describe your coaching style?
My coaching style has changed. I used to be hardcore, like let's go, and you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, and the older I've gotten, now that I have kids, and I've seen the mental health change, it's more of let's check in, let's do the daily check-ins. Do you need something today? Like, do we need to have a light day? Do we need to have a heavy day? Like, kind of checking in with each athlete. So I've kind of gone from the hard nose to the softer side of coaching.
Do you see mental health start occurring if the athlete gets injured more or back when you played?
Injuries are a big deal with a lot of athletes. When I played, you were injured and then you just kind of rehabbed and got back in. That's when I was injured my sophomore year. That's when my mental health got really bad, just because I couldn't play the sport that I loved. So I know I look for that now because I have been there. But I think it is harder on kids when they are injured because it's something that they can't do every day.
Do you have a place that provides the necessary support in ensuring female athletes can thrive both in their sport and personal lives?
A place?
Like maybe like a place like to like suggest to them?
Like resources.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple, just like counseling resources or like tricks to kind of help them, but I think there needs to be more, and I think it needs to be readily available to coaches to give to athletes, especially female athletes. I think that needs to be more done. Like, I think there needs to be more done in that area.
Do you believe mental health is more proven to burn out on female athletes than male athletes?
I'm gonna say female, because I mean that's mostly who I work with, and I've seen it take a toll on more female athletes than my male athletes that I've worked with in tennis, and there's more examples now of that. I think it's more female than male.
Why do you think mental health is overlooked in athletes?
Because a lot of people see athletes as entertainment, and they're getting paid to do what they do, and they're not a person to some people. They're just a product, and what they're producing is their sport.
Do you think the NCAA or professional leagues are prioritizing mental health today?
I think it's better than it has been, especially back when I played, but I think there is room to grow still. I think there's.
How have your coaches influenced you as an athlete and as a coach?
A big time, because I coach, and the person I am today is because of all the coaches that I've had. They've pushed me, they've got me to where I was a D1 athlete, and got me to where I could push through and be the person I am, or I was, but they still loved me no matter what. Like, even if I made a mistake, it was still okay, because I knew that they still cared about me, and I could still play the sport I loved because of them.
Can you share your most memorable moment as an athlete?
Well, I have a couple, but one was winning the state tournament at my sophomore in high school, softball state tournament, and then I guess my college one is going to the College World Series. Yeah.
What motivated you to stick with your sport despite the challenges along the way?
I just loved it. Like, I've loved it since the day I started playing it, and I wanted to grow the sport so that other young female athletes could play softball and go the extra mile to have them see the love for the sport.
What sacrifices did you make to play your sport?
A lot. Every weekend we were gone playing somewhere, doing something, and then pretty much every night of the week I was at practice or a lesson, or I didn't get to hang out with a lot of friends, and there was definitely no partying, and so you sacrifice a lot, but it's for a good thing, not just for a bad thing.
So would you say, without spending a lot of time with your friends and partying, do you think it was worth it?
I do. I totally think it was worth it.
Are there any moments when you questioned continuing your sport, and how did you overcome them?
When I got injured, and I had to have surgery on my ankle, I was out for pretty much my whole sophomore year. I did question, like, do I want to play this anymore? Like, I couldn't walk. I had to learn how to, walk again and run, and it really got to the point where I was like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Do I want to continue at the University of Texas, or do I want to leave? But the longer that I thought about that, the more I was like, you know what, I'm here for a reason. I love this sport. I want to keep playing. So do the rehab, do what the doctors told me to do, and then I can play the sport again.
What is your proudest achievement in your career overall?
My playing career or my coaching career?
You could do both.
Okay, so my playing career, getting to play we played against the Olympic team, being able to hang with them for a little while while they defeated us pretty badly. Coaching, it's really the pride that I see when the kids succeed at what they're trying to succeed. It could be softball, it could be tennis, it could be basketball. I've coached pretty much every volleyball, I've coached pretty much every sport offered. But just to see them achieve and the pride they have when it clicks for them, I guess you would say, and just the love that they have for the sports they're in.
What goals did you set when you first started your career?
Well, back in the day, it was more of, my on-base percentage, or for softball, or my batting average. Coaching-wise, it was, at the beginning when I was younger, was to win. But the more that older I've gotten, it's to develop players, to develop athletes into good people and good humans. So.
Describe a time you faced significant doubt or criticism and how you worked through it.
Let's see. Well, my first year in high school, I was starting on the varsity as a freshman, and a lot of people didn't see why I should be doing that. Freshmen shouldn't be on the varsity. And then my freshman year at Texas, one of the coaches was like, I'm not sure why you're here. And it wasn't a bad thing. It was just that when I was recruited as an outfielder, and I'm not built like a typical outfielder. So I'm bigger and stronger than most outfielders. Back then they were really small and fast, and I was fast, but not small. So, and it kind of lit a fire under me to want to get better, want to get faster, even though I was pretty quick, but to kind of go from there.
What skills do you use to stay positive when things aren't going well, coaching and when you play?
It was a refocus. When I was playing, it was, if I struck out or made a bad play, I had a focus point on my bat that I would look at, that would ground me, as I would say, ground me back into the player I need to be. On my glove, I had some stuff written on it. And then as a coach, I have sayings that I say in my head, just kind of to help me if something goes bad, or, I have an issue with an athlete, I just kind of say that, the mantras in my head, the mottos and everything, so.
How do you celebrate victories both personally and as a team, as a coach and player?
As a player, as with your team, you just, you celebrate, you hang out together, or you go to dinner. As a coach, it was all inside, I'd celebrate with the kids because they won or whatever, or we met our goal, but most of mine was interior. Like, I'd keep it inside and be like, I'm so proud moments, so stuff like that.
What does mental toughness mean to you?
The definition I had when I was playing is different than it was now. Mental toughness back then, I would, you just push through everything. Nothing bothered you. You were focused on it. Now it's just being able to bounce back. That's kind of what I try to tell my athletes and my own children. Mentally, you just got to bounce back. The next play, the next at bat, the next whatever is coming. That's what defines mental toughness for me.
How can we help athletes with mental health?
I think giving them just skills to identify when they're having some mental health issues, and then resources to help them either not overcome it, but to kind of help them get through it and get past it, and then learn how to keep that from happening again.
Thank you, Coach Landers, for your time. You've been mic'd up with Charlie. Go chase greatness, and I'll see you in the next episode.